guys! Jake and MJ back again for more live reactions to Kishiryu Sentai Ryusoulger. Chomp, 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 chomp. Great Scott!
I don't know about this, Doc.
It's, it's nearly Halloween.
We did, some Phantom and, Dinosaur on the live stream.
So we figured we'd do something a little different for the, for the Sentai live reactions.
So Jake's taking his school costume for a test drive.
Yep, I'm gonna be wearing this, at school tomorrow.
With some hair whites.
Yeah.
But we're not
I
gonna dye his hair tonight.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
You get it all over the pillow.
Put the white in my hair right before we're going to bed after this. Ostensibly, I mean, I got plenty of work to do.
I mean, you do have plenty of work, but eventually you'll go to bed, and then it's expendable. It's
I'm
not
gonna
hair dye.
put the hair white in my hair
in
the morning before I go into school, and this will be how I'll be teaching my physics class tomorrow.
As Doc
Brown.
Brown.
And
we were obviously not planning on any of this, otherwise I would have obtained a red vest, but
yeah, it was sort of a last minute thing.
I am the red-green colorblind version of Marty McFly.
Yes. I was just trying this on to make sure it was all good to go for tomorrow.
Then you were like, you know what, I'm gonna do the video.
Yeah, I'll just do the video like this, so
I was like, well, now I gotta find a costume, and then Jake was like, why don't you be Marty?
Yeah, it's a good fit. It works well. All
we
right.
have a similar height difference.
We do have the similar height differential going on there. So I realize it's something that doesn't necessarily always come across in videos, but I'm fairly tall, and you're fairly not
Jacob
tall.
is 6 foot tall, and I am 5'1 1/4.
Yeah.
And that is a hard 1/4 inch, and you will pull it from my cold dead hands. I will always say 5'10 1/4. 5'1 1/4. Look, I will always say the 1/4. You can't stop me.
Something 1/4. Even if you end up shrinking.
5'1 1/4.
Even if you end up shrinking someday, you'll always shrink to something 1/4. However many quarters it takes.
Yes.
We keep the quarters on hand. All right.
In case I cuss.
Yeah. So yeah. Unfortunately, the one thing that makes me sad is that we're not talking about power in my physics class right now. We're still like a ways off. We're working on forces right now, and we haven't gotten to energy and power. So
he has no excuse to say
1.21 gigawatts. I have no reason to do that. But this will still be fun for tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
I realize I don't have my lyrics up.
You should bring those up. So we
I'm getting my lyrics up. I was so busy getting into Marty that...
Yeah.
There, now my lyrics are up.
Alright, you got the lyrics. Okay. So, I think we're good to dive right in. I hope everyone is having a good week of Halloween. Right now I'm doing sort of the spirit week at school, so...
Yeah, today was pajama day. He did his very best Arthur Dent.
Yeah.
I was very surprised, though, when he came home, that with his pajamas, he was wearing a necktie.
Yeah, this is a professional environment. You should still wear a necktie. Now this time, I'll be wearing a lab coat tomorrow instead. So, still quite professional, just different profession.
That's my lab coat, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
That's the Dr. K lab coat.
Yeah, the Dr. C lab coat belongs to Chris, so.
Yes.
Yes, I am wearing the Dr. K lab coat.
That means it'll fit you correctly, because you see, I got a Dr. K lab coat that goes all the way down past my knees, because Dr. K is dwarfed by her lab coat.
Yep, and you always have to roll up the sleeves every time.
Yep.
I feel like we probably should have done some form of hemming at some point.
I only bother rolling them up if my hands are actually going to be in the scene.
That's true.
Which isn't as often as you think, because when my hands are in the scene, we have to make sure that I am not wearing nail polish.
A lot of, like, shoulder-up shots in general with power reviews, just because we do not have that much depth of field to work with the actual size of our filming space.
The filming space is, what, 11 feet by 10 feet?
Yeah, if that.
But that's handy, because then nobody has to wear shoes.
Yep. So, yeah, our studio is like a 10 by 10 space that's not even really.
And half the time, people don't have to wear the correct pants either.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
oh, yeah. Well,
there's a picture on Instagram of me in the Dr. K outfit and little plaid shorts.
Yeah, half the time that I'm, like, Phantom Ranger, I'm
not wearing the bottom half.
I'm wearing khakis.
Yeah.
I got armor from here on up, and from on down, I'm just khakis. Because khakis are comfortable.
But it was so warm in the studio that day that I was wearing little plaid shorts.
And yes, for a time I did work at State Farm, so I was...
Jake from State Farm, and he was wearing khakis.
Khakis.
That was the thing that actually
That legitimately was my life for the first year I was doing Power reviews. Yeah. So, all that being said, I'm sure that was a delightful stroll down memory lane. Let's dive into episode 32 of Kishiryu Sentai Ryusoulger, When the Reign of Hatred Ceases. Whoop. We're getting a little flashback of what's up with Nada, being all Guy-Sword evil and trying to fight from the inside, and Co's determined to save him, as Red Rangers often tend to be with regards to evil Ranger counterparts.
Oh, his shirt's back.
Yep.
Juice box.
I want a juice box now. I'm thirsty now. Now I want a juice box. No. Oh, that's Mountain Dew. I wanted a beverage. That's... No.
ねえピータン。ピータンは私たちより年上だよね。何か知らない？外装具のこと。知りたい？
So what does Pete know?
ピータン。騙されるな。もったいぶってるだけだ。
What? Dear Migo, what's your deal?
封印されるのが嫌で、こそこそ隠れてただけだから。こそこそってなんだよ。俺の方が知ってる外装具のこと。
Dear Migo, you know about Guy-Sword?
And you've been holding out on us all this time?
He's very hard.
He's very hard. That's only natural when armor's involved.
Nada は自分の選択を後悔してる。鎧の力に頼ってしまったことは。
Long day.
このまま外装具に飲み込まれるくらいなら。
Yeah, he's looking at his life, looking at his choices, and he's like, Nada's just sort of asking himself, how did this happen to me? I made no mistakes. He might run off back to space. Who knows? Because apparently that's the thing you could do. Hey, Nada? Hey, Nada?
Want
Want
to
to
go
go
to
to
space?
Hey, Nada? How you doing?
Not so hot.
I don't know, he looks pretty warm. Sweating a bit.
I love how these plastic swords make clinky noises every time you rotate them.
Yeah.
Do metal swords even make clinky noises?
The armor's getting in his head.
And on his head.
Yep. Bada-bada, 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 oh! Gyoto hikaru sodo, chikate bateru rodo. Bam, 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 bada, momoritai, kono sekai, nagade sanai to, kimeta nara sono michi o yuke yo. Tadashiki embeberu, yusho no akashi, sa soru o hitotsu ni. どんな時でも逃げないダイナミック大地を鳴らせハゲナの力ギラと光るソド血が出ばてるロド 夢は一人で見るよりみんなで見るほど強くなる果敢的展開などどかんと超えてこ
正義につけ闇を立ってキシル戦隊竜ソルジャー
I felt like we actually did
Much closer than we've ever done before.
we like that one like slurry in the middle actually I think came out pretty clean this time. Hey Kira, what's up? Hey,
Everybody's kneeling. Oh.
Alright, Kishiryu is in charge again, I think. For now, for some reason. So he's making fun of him and his relationship for Weisel, even though it's one of the best parts of the show.
Personal space.
He's got the sad eyes. I don't think the Drew drones have much to say there. Oh! He's turning a Drew drone into a Minosaur. That's interesting.
Japan really does love their outdoor stairs.
Yep. Yeah, try and track him down. Whoop. Did you just hear the shininess of the armor? Oh, that's the Minosaur. Whoa, okay, yeah. Well, that didn't really give you that much of a heads up. It just let you know something that you were about to see in 2 seconds, okay. I hate you all, I hate you. So,
Quit blue hair.
Quip flopping around like some kind of flappy fish. He's like, oh, he's sad. Don't, I'll cry. Upsy daisy, there we go. Rainbow rain, huh? Okay. It's a pumpkin. It's a jack-o'-lantern Minosaur. Draining humans of their hatred and spreading it with rain. Interesting. So you drain out their hatred and then rain down their hatred. Wouldn't that just be a net neutral hatred?
No, I think we're targeting people who have lots of hatred, causing them to spread it to people who don't usually have much.
Yes.
Because he's throwing the...
It's exposition time.
The Minosaur is specifically throwing candy at certain people.
I do like that they actually did come up with a Halloween-themed Minosaur. For Halloween, that's delightful.
You get to get a big.
If Ryusoulger
here comes...
does... Well, we're sideways. Someone... You tilted the... Did someone drop the camera sideways now? Oh, okay. Hey guys, you're all slashy right now. He's a bit out of it. Had a better time. Okay. So Kishiryu says...
Had a bad day. Taking one down. That's where I stopped before we get copyright struck.
I do like the. I do very much like the Japanese sword. Oh, he's doing the zappy zap.
Y'all are getting butts handed to you.
You got a zappy zap ring of fire going on.
Who's the strongest? Kishiryu.
Nah, I think it's. Well, I mean, there was. We had. Oh, yeah, there was. I think it was Yamato actually, if I recall correctly.
What? Did you hear that?
What was it?
You were busy talking, but Pita just asked Tiramigo if he'd like to fly.
Oh.
Tiramigo's like, I'm gonna go find that dinosaur.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought it said just now. I didn't know if I didn't hear something.
And then Pita said, would you like to fly?
I thought when you asked did I hear that, I thought.
Well, not here.
I thought there was English in there for a moment. I'm like, wait, no, was there English? He's very purple. Purple. He's stunning. Okay, so Toe is going to town now. Oh, hey, you get to use the punchy punch. That's cool. Which means that, Asuna's the only one who hasn't had armor so
Okay,
far.
so, but this works backwards. This is the opposite of attack the armor.
Yeah, actually, this would punch right through the armor into Nada. Yeah, Ko was pointing that out. Okay. Interesting. If they can weaken Nada, then it's going to search for a stronger host, okay. Ooh. Are those all the souls of the...
Hatred of gods.
Okay. Separate out the hatred, apparently. That's a thing you can do.
Why is it?
Ooh. Ko demorphed. Okay.
Take me.
Okay.
Why are you smiling? Shouldn't you at least be a little apprehensive about this?
He apparently has a lot of faith in his ability to combat hatred, I guess. That's pretty crazy looking. Okay. That was crazy. There's a lot of hate now. The Minosaur's beam drains hate. So if they can get it to hit Ko, okay. Oh man. This is a bird, this is a plane. It's a fly.
Tiramigo. I don't care. Why the Minosaur?
Okay, so what's going on with the guys?
Pieces.
Okay, so they're transferring over to Ko one piece at a time, it looks like right now. They gotta fight off the armor. Interesting play. So you gotta fight it off piece by piece. Whoop.
Everybody just got dwarfed.
Yeah, that's not great. Oh, it just got big. That's not great. Tiramigo is definitely less of an abomination than Spinal Thunder. Oof. Fighting off the hand there.
Yeah, but look.
Yeah. Ko's got quite a bit on him at this point, and Nada's almost out. he's not really running. I'm not actually entirely certain he's conscious. But I'll roll with the sentiment. Come on, Nana, wake up. Wake up, fight it, help them fight it. 4-Ko is totally covered. He's got, he's given it an arm and a leg. What's happening?
He's sharing out his memories. He really wanted to be a Ryusoulger. That's what drove him. Okay. What's going on there with the sword? Okay, he's got the sword. Alright, so Nada's awake. There we go. Still got a few pieces on. It really makes me sick.
He doesn't like being lectured by a youngin'. Oh, terrible.
Kanji, your mind, sir.
There we go. Candy time. Have some hate candy. That's the thing. Oof. I feel like I could see this going really poorly. I feel like that's a pretty big hate storm.
Whoa, it's got a face.
Yep.
Beat it before it rains. How do you beat a cloud? Speaking of beating it, that guy.
He's Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah, he is.
Backy Garoo.
Full power down, Dan!
Because that's a thing that's happening. Nice. So we've got the Pteramigo combo for the Megazord along with Backy Garoo. Dino Knight Rex Jet. That's pretty cool. That's pretty spiffy. I'll roll with that.
I think I'm genuinely enjoying an episode of Ryusoulger.
What? Why you have a lounge chair in a cloud for some reason?
Well, I assume he thought he was safe out of the world's way and he'd just stay up there until
They're having a full-on cloud fight right now.
Speaking of clouds, if the Geyser cloud rains on everybody, the average human is completely doomed.
Yeah, I feel like this isn't how clouds usually work.
So they're calling it, I think.
Yeah, just the running on top of them part. With, like, the sound of foot impacts.
Did you just see him just... Does he kind of need a punch in the crotch?
Probably in the face, which is pretty much the same thing. Oh, it's raining. Maybe you could, instead of yelling at Ko, maybe you could join in your sword somehow. I mean, you do also have swords.
Yes, but I think the point is that only he can do this because presently...
He's the only one who can fly right now.
Right, yeah, he's got P-Time.
What? Freezy Fiery Punch.
I've seen fire.
Rex Blizzard Inferno.
Oh, right, because the ice comes from Piton.
Yep. And we
then
even
the
got a little
punchiness comes
Kishiryu.
from Kishiryu.
Yep.
Hey!
Okay, so now what?
Did that just turn into a heart momentarily?
I think it just sort of dissipated, which means that that's,
Is Geisword armor now purified and he can just be
I think it's
Ryusoulger?
basically dissipated now. So, is that the end of the Geisword? Huh. Cool.
Are you done being angry little?
Too close. Yeah, that was very up in their face there. Oh, the Tetsuris are like, oh yeah, we're in this show. Wow, today was weird.
They went to the party shop.
The party shop.
Pop party shop.
Yeah. Everyone was being oddly nice. Okay.
Oh, you said
Nice.
I am not a grandpa.
Alright. What? Why?
No, I think it's the armor without the thing that possesses it.
What is happening? We don't keep any money in the house. Okay. So he's just got armor now, apparently.
That's what I'm saying. That was what my theory was before. You're like, it's dissipated. I think it's purified.
Interesting. So he's scratching his back. Interesting. Alright. So now he's just,
A Ryusoulger.
yeah.
The verbal Ryusoulger.
Yep. Nice.
Toa-chan.
Nice. With Miggy while the guys are armor.
Just somebody hold the sword for me.
Okay. Cool.
Toa's so happy.
Yeah, he is. He's very happy. Thrilling up the thriller, flailing on the flailing and pose. And I think I just hit 10,000 steps doing that.
Yes, Oliver is late to the
The
party.
ferocious Udin appears. Okay, so now he's the Knight of Resilience.
Nice.
Oh, and it looks like,
Let's fight together. Not our souls are.
Ooh.
Whoa! Look
we're
at what
getting
he
some
can do now.
shiny armor thing going on.
Yeah, it almost looks like a red Geisword helmet.
Yeah, which is interesting with like
He
gold.
might be able
in
to
this.
like share his
Maybe
power.
maybe his or maybe his armor is changing up. Now that he's no longer Geisword. So it becomes some sort of red and gold warrior thing.
Oliver over here.
Yeah, he sort of passed around behind.
He's late to the party. He's avoiding me because I brushed all of those clumps out of his hair today.
Hey, little buddy, how you doing?
And he'll forgive me by tomorrow.
So yeah, that was pretty good.
And I put the flea treatment on the back of his neck, and he kept shaking and shaking. Because you couldn't lick it. That's why you put it on the back of their necks.
I think it was, it was very much an sort of odd roundabout solution, as Ryusoulger tends to do, but as far as...
I enjoyed it.
As far as odd roundabout solutions...
I haven't had this much fun watching Ryusoulger since pretty early on.
It's been a while.
I mean, I definitely had fun with the first episode, because...
We do occasionally have fun.
Who can get past that mallet?
Oh yeah, that mallet was great.
So the first episode was really fun. I don't think
wiper.
I've had this much fun watching Ryusoulger since the first episode, though. I think this is the best episode since then.
It might be. I think part of it is just because it was that long drag out, effort to save Nada.
Yeah.
And they managed to resolve it in a way that that kind of worked within the context of what was going on. The whole draining hate and turning it into other things was a little odd. The fact that it came from a Druidrone was a little odd. I felt like they could have done more with the fact that it came from a Druidrone. Like, the Druidrone created the Jack-o'-lantern Minosaur, and I'm like...
But what is the Druidrone's bad feeling that made this?
So could you... Well, it seems some sort of fear thing? I really don't know.
Because...
Yeah, that really was kind of a weird thing. And it's one of those things where I'm like, wait, why don't they just normally do that? Like, if you can make really random Minosaurs just come out of Druidrones instead of people, why don't you just use Druidrones instead of searching out all these people with complex motivations and
I don't know, maybe they don't like to kill their Druidrones, because, I mean, ostensibly, in the end, the person would be completely subsumed by the Druidrone. Or by the
Minosaur.
Minosaur.
Okay, I suppose that's fair. Well, it's still a little bit
Who's
odd.
a smooth boy? Who's a smooth boy? Smooth boy. You're a very smooth boy.
But yeah, we had some good
boy.
Kishiryu action with
Silky
Piton and Tiramigo. So that was cool. That was a nifty new combo. Fun fight, which was very silly. That was a very silly fight.
That was a very silly fight.
He had a parasol and a lounge chair, and he was sitting on a cloud.
I just love how Tiramigo was like, it's not Tiramigo, it's Patiramigo.
Exactly. But also,
he's like, I don't care, find the Magnusor. Now is not the time for puns, Tiramigo.
I gotta admit, though, I think one of the most absurd parts of this was the fact that during the fight on top of the clouds, when the Megazord was running at the monster, you could hear its booming footsteps.
What happened on top of your head?
Oh, what, he had a little scratch?
He has a scratch.
Oh, a little scratch.
Did you get in a fight with Oliver? Frankie? You are Oliver. Did you get in a fight with him?
But it's like, okay, I can roll with you're having a fight in the clouds, but what's the deal with the impact of your feet on the clouds? Like, that's one of those sounds that gets added in post. That's not like a sound that was just natural in the recording.
No.
So it's like, why do your feet make big booming noises when you're running
on clouds?
On a cloud.
I don't
on the
know.
softest thing imaginable.
Maybe that's where thunder comes from. Minosaurs running on clouds.
In this case, Megazord running on clouds. That was just a weird sound choice.
Excuse me.
And I'm like,
I guess
I don't know who decided to do that.
I was like,
it was a weird thing.
You
So, yeah, it was, I like they managed to figure out a rather clever way of freeing Nada. I would have liked if Geysorg had something of more active role in the plot prior to the whole rescue of Nada. Just, Geysorg first appeared maybe, was it 20 episodes ago or so?
Yeah.
And really didn't seem to be actually executing any... He was acting like Geysorg had some sort of plan in motion,
Yeah, no plan.
and then that never happened. Plus, we had Geysorg in Super Sentai Strongest Battle. So, just the very long, setup, the long, sporadic, drawn-out introduction of Geysorg, I think hurt things a little bit, just because it felt like that never really came to a clear head in terms of what they were building towards.
Left leg.
I felt like it, if we were just looking at, the Nada arc and Guy Zorg was really just, introduced and established pretty much just during the Nada arc, then I feel like this might have been a more satisfying arc, because it would have been,
it doesn't violate any of its own rules within that time period.
Yeah.
It only violates rules which were established before that time period.
Right. We had the little bit with where Toa first met Guy Zorg. But it's like, okay, dude, what were you doing as Guy Zorg before you introduced yourself to them as Nada? That never really seemed to go anywhere, and I feel like that's not going anywhere. Now we're just.
Why were you chatting up the Minosaurs?
And the the Druidrones and the Prime Minister, what was up with all that? And I feel like we're probably not going to get any more explanation on that, because generally speaking, once something's been explained, even if it's only been explained really weakly, we don't get any further explanation past that one. As much as it would be appreciated. The whole, determination to rescue a friend and the ingenuity in how they executed that were along with the Kishiryu interactions in combat, were really the strengths of this episode. It's just a shame that the surrounding context of the rest of the series makes things a little bit weaker in terms of it having something that it's culminating. So I don't know if it felt quite as earned as it probably could. It was
fun.
It was still far from the I've seen far more anticlimactic resolutions of long running plots.
I wasn't frustrated or upset with it.
Same. It's really one of those things where it was a solid episode that makes me wish the rest of the series was more solid, so they would
bolster it up.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't on par with when Trent in Dino Thunder, just basically got unevilified just by accident. That was a very anticlimactic resolution of a very well built up storyline that kind of petered out. This one was one that was
resolution of a poorly built up story.
Yeah, where it was just sort of built up in just sort of drips and drabs, and then it's just okay, now this is something we're going to focus on, and now we're focusing on it, we're going to resolve it. But I like that Ryusoulger actually had a nice little arc to that actually followed through across the course of several episodes and got to its payoff. If there's one thing Power Rangers does, not Power Rangers, Super Sentai does seem to know and be familiar with at this point, it is the structure of the Evil Ranger arc.
Yeah.
You have your introduction, you have the mystery, you have the reveal, you have the unite to
common cause, kind of your enemy is my enemy deal, and then eventually you help them do their heel face turn.
I mean, it is, it's the Green with Evil arc. It does seem to follow that structure. And we have had a number of, obviously in Green with Evil we had, Tommy is introduced, the Green Ranger is established as a threat, we have the escalation, we have a little bit of recovery, we have things that at their worst, we discover his true identity, everybody unites to save him. Not necessarily always in that order. Obviously here we had, the introduction, then we had the reveal. Then we had things got to their worst. Then we had the rallying to save.
Mr. Shittyface.
Was a similar thing with Zanaku back in Power Rangers Wild Force.
Cardboard is not food.
Similar sort of thing with the Thunder Rangers and Ninja Storm. Trent is the White Dino Ranger, although that one did span a slightly longer amount of time and much longer amount of time than Abba Ranger.
Way anticlimactically.
Abba Ranger definitely handled the resolution of that arc, I think, much better, but that's because they made it basically almost a full season arc. Took up maybe 2/3 of the season of him. I thought it was probably one of the more interesting Ranger arcs that we've seen. In Abba Ranger, we had, our sixth, in this case, the evil fifth Ranger, was introduced about a third of the way into the series, establishes himself as a threat. Then he starts making moves to just take over the villains. Took over the villains. Eventually starts to turn against the villains as they betray him. Creates a conflict, leading to him to work alongside the Rangers, and finally take heroic action in the penultimate episode. So very different in terms of structure for most arcs there.
Yes.
But yeah, we've got Green with Evil, Zanaku, Thunder Rangers. What other Evil Ranger arcs have we dealt with? I'm trying to think right now.
I mean, there's kind of Karen, but she wasn't a ranger.
True.
But then
it was but that was still.
She did become a ranger. So
The Astronema reveal arc. Astronema thinks twice. Rangers leap of faith. That was a similar structure to an Evil Ranger arc. That then got sort of Titanium Ranger. I forgot about Titanium Ranger. That was a compressed one. In terms of the Evil Ranger element of it, where he was really only evil for 2 episodes.
I'm not sick. I got my nose pierced and it's itching.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm sniffly.
Yeah.
But I can't touch it. Don't touch. Don't touch.
Quantum Ranger was really more of an anti-hero arc, which was handled a little differently. Let's see then. We had Wolzard Korag for Magi Ranger / Mystic Ranger definitely has a lot of similarities with Geysorg in terms of design.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But and it does seem like they might be doing a similar thing where after him being cured he becomes a Red Warrior. Although again that was an arc that got stretched
but again,
out.
He was
much
a Red
longer.
Warrior who became an evil Purple Warrior and then reverted to being a Red Warrior.
Yes, just I think probably a different style of Red Warrior than he was originally.
Oh yeah, because originally he was just a Red Ranger.
Not a Red Ranger. He was a Red Titan. I would think it was their Titan form that they called them.
I don't know, man.
He
was on the same team as Udana.
Well, yeah, but he had that same sort of secondary form that that Daggeron had. Where for Lianbo he had that big the big red horns and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what for Evil Ranger arcs? It feels like it's been a little while since we've really had a proper Evil Ranger arc, like a traditional Evil Ranger arc, as an introduction for a 6th Ranger.
I don't think we've had one in the Neo Saban era.
Yeah, I'm double checking in my head. And, we had this Silver Ranger Xenowing arc, which was very brief as far as Silver Ranger being evil. He communicated with them briefly, then they found out he was evil, and then the episode they found out he was evil, they split him apart from Xenowing. And then that was it for having an evil Silver Ranger. So that was a very brief evil Ranger arc for an intro arc. And then as far as Sentai goes, the Sixth Ranger from Ryusoulger was much more traditional Evil Ranger intro arc, where he's introduced as an antagonist and then becomes a Ranger. And that one, I think, was delightful. Primarily because Masao Mondo is just a delightful character. Just the fact that they subverted expectations so hard with, okay, first it's like he's evil and brutal and he's just destroying them, then you briefly see him demorphed and you see, okay, he is in pain because he's being tortured into this, and then they finally cure him, and then they find out that he is just this sad little puppy kind of a man who just wants friends, and he's adorable. Like, and he's so, like, I'm glad that I got to highlight him in the Autistic and Awesome Conversations in Context video, because he was a great character. I know he's a little divisive because of his oddities, but the way that they handled his combination of PTSD and non-neurotypical nature, his neurovariant nature, which was almost certainly some form of autism spectrum, just in terms of how he behaved, I thought was pretty wonderful. So,
you're bringing your math pants into screen.
Okay. I may have some math pants on right now. So, yeah, there have been a lot of different executions of the Evil Ranger arc. I feel like it's not as frequent as it sometimes may seem, as much as it is a classic concept from Green with Evil. I'd say this one was kind of a solid mid-range. Like, this was like, solid kind of Zanaku style Evil Ranger arc.
I know we were thinking about watching less of this, but it's been keeping pretty good.
Well, the whole Nada arc has really helped it out.
The question is, will they be able to keep it up now that the Nada arc is over?
Well, it's not completely over yet, it looks like, because we got to now integrate Nada into the team, and that'll will give us something for the next few episodes.
It was getting very tiresome to watch.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where from week to week, it can change between being, okay, this was kind of cute, okay, this was kind of fun, okay, this has potential.
But the Nada arc has given us 3 in a row that were pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's still
Part of that, it was very hit or miss, but
it's been a rough season.
I'm not going to say they were good. They were not bad.
This I'd say was a relatively solid,
solid
Evil Ranger reformation.
Well done. Good
It was not as super rushed as some have been, nor was it anticlimactically resolved as some have been.
That's at least 3 different sirens.
I feel like it probably would have had more impact if the Evil Ranger character in question had affected the team in more ways, considering he had been around for so long.
I hope everyone's okay.
Yeah, hopefully. But if you basically just sort of ignore Guy Zorg's previous appearances and his...
You have to ignore his previous appearances.
And his interactions with the Druidoms,
yeah.
then it's fine. If you keep it focused on the Rangers and their relationship to Nada, it's fine. Their commitment to Nada felt... Actually, you know what I think it is that...
Yawning too hard made my nose hurt.
There's always a little thing that's kind of at the back of my head, and it takes me a little moment to really nail it down. And I think what it is on this one is... as much as I appreciated that they had pre-established... That they had a variety of different connections and relationships with Nada, the whole reforming Nada goal of the team felt, for the most part, relatively non-specific as far as the motivations, at least on Ko's part. And the reason I say that is...
Yeah, Ko was just jump in with 2 feet. Just, oh, a person needs to be saved? And it was, okay, you do, okay.
And that was the thing. It was very much, okay, this is another person that needs to be saved. And not necessarily...
anything personal.
Someone who we'd really seen them develop really close ties to.
If anything, the person with close ties to Nada has been Toa.
And Bamba, by virtue of...
Bamba's previous relationship with him. But in this time period, it's been Toa. And I think Toa was feeling for him quite deeply, mostly because he heard that story and realized that his master had gone the same way.
Yeah, exactly. But even that, I felt like we didn't get much by way of the strong bonding moment between the characters. Whichever combo. We had a number of different combos between Nada and Ko, Toa, Bamba. They all had different relationships. But I felt like we didn't get that strong bonding relationship to serve as a bedrock for why him being revealed as Geizorg felt as much of a betrayal as it did. I felt like we got close.
But no cigar.
And the only things that held that back were Ko is just generically friendly with everybody.
So generic.
And Bamba always had reservations about him.
Always. Because the relationship he had before with him was not a good one.
And Toa's connection to him was really based more on his connection to Geizorg, more so than Nada personally.
Right.
And it became his connection to Nada once the reveal was made. And so this whole big team rallying around to save Nada felt less specific to Nada. I felt like we got close to it, though, but I think they may have jumped the gun a little bit in terms of Nada starting to turn against the team. Because we didn't get to have... Before we had really firmed up his personal connections with the team in a positive way, we jumped right into...
I hate it when you guys are like this.
Now I will be the Red Ranger. No, you can totally quit Kanala.
Baby Gold Ranger.
Like, those sorts of machinations kicked in, I think, a little too quick without first establishing the strong emotional bonds that made it more of a betrayal. And that's just my take on it. Like, it was just... it was a solid arc that just could have had these little tweaks that could have really hit it just that much harder.
I agree.
And again, as with most things, a little bit of a contrived...
It's the thought that counts.
A little bit of a contrived circumstance to get the resolution, which happens all the time. It's like, okay, they happen to have a monster that happens to drain out hate, so they use the monster. It was clever. It was still a little contrived. But that being said, it was a fun monster. It had a great design. I enjoyed that it was the Halloween monster. And Tiramigo and Piton were very fun as Pateramigo.
I gotta stop chewing my upper lip every time I do. I hurt my nose.
So there was plenty of fun things. There was definitely a solid foundation behind... There was a solid foundation behind this arc, just not as emotionally solid as I think it could have been. This is definitely not me hating on the arc. This was solid. It wasn't perfect, but it was solid, and that is really what
saying something for this series.
What I'm looking for out of Ryusoulger right now. I'm looking for some good solidity behind it, some strength behind it, and this arc had that. Like we had the little one or two little gasp moments for like when Nada backstabbed Ko. That was our little gasp moment, which you need to have during one of these arcs.
Totally did not expect him to get hit with a sword while not morphed.
Yeah,
that was
a nasty move, and you know that was the escalation that you need, that turning point in the Evil Ranger arc that you kind of need to escalate things that little bit extra. And then the previous episode we had that. Okay, right after he's gone full evil, is he really full evil or not? We're debating, and then they decide, okay, he's not, so we're going to save him, and then this episode they saved him. So,
yay for saving it.
It wasn't super stretched out, it wasn't super rushed, it was a well-paced Evil Ranger arc once we actually got into it. Once we actually introduced Nana, and we are like, okay, we are in this arc now, the pacing was solid. It's mostly Geysorg's presence prior, and how Geysorg had been interacting with characters before the reveal of his identity that weakened things.
Yeah.
Because it felt like they were trying to keep the character mysterious, and you don't know which side he's on, but without the writers having a firm grasp yet.
But the writers didn't know which side he was on either!
It felt like they were just trying to throw things out without having an underlying in-universe reason for them. Which we could be proven wrong on. Now that Nada's no longer having to worry about combating the Geysorg armor, maybe he'll explain a few more things.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that they retroactively explain something so that it actually makes sense. Like, the punchy armor.
Yeah.
Where we're like, how do you punch through all that rock?
And even then, that
was... the ground.
It was a
little bit, but they did explicitly explain
Also, we finally got Toas to wear some armor today, so that was good.
It was for the express purpose of pulping poor Toa's body. Nada's body.
Yeah. Which means, give Asuna some armor. She's the last one. Let her wear something. Give her her own thing. I don't care what it is. Let her have some armor. She's the only one left. I mean,
think she would look smashing in P-Town. I
mean, at this point, next episode, it looks like either Ko or Nada, not sure which, is getting new armor. One of them is getting new armor. Let Asuna have some armor. Let her punch something. Let her fly. Let her shoot fire.
I would love her in the punchy armor. She would be so much fun with punchy armor, because she's already like the strength soldier.
Punchy armor's been working its way around.
Yeah, it has been.
It's been through 3 different Rangers. I think it's the only one that's done that.
The punchy armor gets around. If you know what I'm saying.
So, I know what you're saying. Alright, so I think we probably overanalyzed this arc pretty well at this point, or at the very least.
Did you make your icon on that Mac, HAL 9000?
It's honestly total coincidence. It's on my other Mac too. Total coincidence. It keeps following me. It's like the Eye of Vengeance.
Looks just like HAL 9000, exactly.
It's the Eye of Vengeance keeps following me. It's just like that default. I don't know why. So, once again, I hope that everyone has a happy Halloween.
Yes.
We look forward to seeing you for our Beast Morphers live stream live reactions
Wear your reflector vests.
Saturday.
Don't approach houses with the lights out. Don't eat anything that doesn't come in a wrapper.
All good advice for the live stream on Saturday.
This is advice for Thursday, so that they'll still be alive to watch us on Saturday.
Also good for Thursday. What's Thursday again?
Halloween.
Halloween. That. Good advice for that.
Halloween costume day is on Wednesday, though, apparently, huh?
They're doing like a whole Spirit Week thing, so tomorrow is Character Day.
Oh, I see.
And then after that they have Halloween Spirit Day, which, I mean, apparently could be you come in a costume or you are just wearing black and orange. I feel like they were stretching themselves a little bit. Monday was Meme Day.
Yes, you went as Cards Against Humanity.
We did. We printed up cards.
The teachers did.
Yeah. And then Friday is gonna be Fall Day, so you wear fall colors. So that's the idea of our Spirit Week here.
Okay.
So, and then time to reenact Pajama Day from today and get some rest. So,
Yes!
until Saturday when we see you guys again, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you.
What is it this time, Doc?
Your kids, Marty. We gotta do something about your kids.